Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Filah. My last student number is 03. I'm from class 1 and this video is for midterm test English debate. With the motion, this house will let the government fully own and manage all public transportation in Indonesia. And this is for government side. Honorable judges, moderators, and ladies and gentlemen, today we stand with the government to support the motion. This house would let the government fully own and manage all public transportation in Indonesia. We believe that public transportation is a basic public right that must be guaranteed by the state as a whole. With full government ownership and management, we can address chronic problems such as service fragmentation, inequality of access, and extortion practices that harm the public. We will show that only with the centralized management by the government, Indonesia's public transportation can become more integrated, equitable, quality, and sustainable for the welfare of Indonesians. The main problem facing public transportation in Indonesia today is fragmented management that leads to uneven services, operational inefficiencies, and quality uncertainty. The system relies on private operators, local operators, and public-private partnership, or PPP. Seems create overlapping routes and local monopolies that harm consumer as well as extortion and thuggery at major terminals, such as in Yogyakarta and several other major cities. By giving full ownership and management to the government, we can realize the integration of the entire transportation system for MRT, LRT, city buses to village transport, thus facilitating efficient and coordinated route planning. It also allows the government to guarantee transportation access to all regions, include remote and disadvantaged areas that have been neglected by private operators for profitability reasons. In addition, the government can set strict service standards regarding safety, comfort, and accessibility, especially for vulnerable groups such as people with disabilities, the elderly, the student with direct management extortion, and the career practice that have been discouraged at terminal can be systematically eradicated through more effective supervision and law enforcement. In terms of investment, the government can implement long-term program in accordance with the National Medium-Term Development Plan (RPJMN), which requires a massive 6.4 quadrillion for transportation infrastructure until 2024, without relying on private investors who often have short-term interests and prioritize the profit. The government is also better able to steer environmentally friendly transportation policies, such as the development of electric bus fleets and the reduction of carbon emission, which are critical to tackling pollution and congestion in big cities like Jakarta and Surabaya. Regarding the opposition criticism that the government is often inefficient and bureaucratic, we emphasize that inefficiency currently arises due to fragmentation of management and overlapping authority between multiple operators. With a centralized and accountable structure, oversight and service will be easier to control and improve. In addition, innovation and technology can continue be developed through state-owned enterprise and collaboration with research institutions, so there is no need to rely entirely on the private sector. Therefore, full ownership and management by the government is the best solution to provide integrated, equitable, quality, and sustainable public transportation for the welfare of Indonesian people. Thank you. This for opposition side. Honorable judges, moderator, and ladies and gentlemen, we stand in opposition to the motion this House would let the government fully own and manage all public transportation in Indonesia. We believe that the role of the private sector and public-private partnership are the key to delivering public transportation that is efficient, innovative, and responsive to the needs of a diverse society. A government monopoly on a management risk creating a bureaucracy that is slow, unimaginative, and insensitive to local needs. We will show that by strengthening the PPP system and regulation and providing incentives for private operators serving remote areas, Indonesian public transportation can develop sustainably without sacrificing efficiency and innovation. Public transportation in Indonesia must be managed by the principle of efficiency, innovation, and responsiveness to the needs of a very diverse and dynamic society, which can only be achieved through a healthy partnership between the government and the private sector, not the monopoly of management by the government. The current PPP system has proven to be able to attract much needed private investment to close the infrastructure funding gap that reached tens of trillions of rupiah, so that the burden on the state budget is not too heavy. Private operators and local cooperatives have the flexibility to adapt their services to market needs, for example, by quickly changing routes and schedule according to user demand, something that is difficult to do by the slow and rigid government bureaucracy. In addition, the private sector often pioneers technological innovations such as the use of real-time bus tracking application, digital payment system, and more responsive customer service, which improve user convenience and satisfaction. mm, and satisfaction. The existence of cooperatives and local operators is also crucial for regional economic empowerment and employment, which could potentially be lost if the government takes overall transportation management. The opposition also highlighted the risk of excessive bureaucracy and the lack of incentives for the government to continuously improve service quality if there is no market competition. Monopolistic government management has the potential uh, to create a system that is rigid, less innovative, and insensitive to different local needs, especially in remote and rural areas that have unique characteristic. Regarding the government claim that private management neglects remote areas, a more appropriate solution would be to strike regulation and provide subsidies or incentives for private operators serving treaty disadvantages frontier and outermost areas, rather than removing the role of the private sector altogether. In addition, service integration can be achieved through an integrated ticketing system and strict regulation of service standards without having to eliminate the existence of various operators. In terms of financial risk, the PPP scheme allows risk sharing between the government and the private sector so that state finances are better protected, especially during an economic crisis or pandemic like COVID-19. Therefore, we reject a full government monopoly and propose an improved PPP system and strengthen oversight to keep public transportation in Indonesia efficient, innovative, and inclusive, and sustainable. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.